Well, the time has finally come. We are going to remove the transmission. The little 904 that's not going into second gear. Finally. By the way, welcome back to the channel. So I already started. I removed the cap. I have to remove the rotor. Hopefully I don't have to take the whole distributor out. I don't want to. So just to get a little more clearance between the firewall and the engine, because I know I'm going to have to lean the engine back just a little. And if I don't have enough clearance, I'll just take out the distributor. Anyway, let's get started. I got the car up on blocks. I don't think it's going to fall on me and crack my head. So I got a little creeper in there. I think I'm going to put a blanket down because it's still kind of cold. This is concrete. And I don't want to get cold. I'm tired of the winter. It's sunny out, but it's still cold in the garage. Anyway, let me get some tools together and get up under there. I think the first thing I'm going to remove is the starter. I bought one of those miniature starters, high torque starters. You can't see it from here, but I should be able to maneuver it out. I think it's been done a long time ago. I think that's how I got it in there. I was able to get it out. If I had used the original starter, I would have to remove the header to get the starter in and then install the header, and that's not easy. So I did it that way, and maybe I'll remove the exhaust too, just to get everything out of the way here. Anyway, let me get some tools and we'll get started. Okay, so I have the exhaust off. These are the purple hornies on here. I got them both off. The other one's laying over there. That one's going to go in the garage with the blown engine Magnum. We'll get to that someday. And so what's next? I think I'm going to remove the dry shaft next and then get a jack under there. Try to position it under the engine somewhere to see if I can get just a little bit of clearance so I can get my hand in there and start removing these bolts on the bell housing. Also the starter. So I'm going to take out the dry shaft and then the starter, and then disconnect all the connections, the transmission fluid lines, the cable for the line pressure. I believe it has one electrical plug on there for reverse, and I don't remember. I don't remember. It's been a while, but we'll go through it. All right, let me get this dry shaft out. Okay, the dry shaft is out. There it is. I smell fuel. Hope it doesn't have a fuel leak. Anyway, if you can see, it looks like the diff is leaking gear oil right there, right in here. You see it's all wet, it's dripping down. That's why I got that there, so that's a problem. Don't think that's in the budget to repair, so we're just gonna top it off for now. I would hate to leave it like that, but it's just not in the budget. And then, not that it matters, but if you can see, it looks like the rear seal on this transmission on the tail here was also leaking transmission fluid. Yeah, so none of this has been rebuilt before. This is all original from 1968. So I guess you can expect it to be leaking after all these years, right? It's going on, what, 50 years? And that's out of a '69 Roadrunner. and that's never been rebuilt. So yeah, almost another 50 years. So they lasted long enough. We'll see what we can do. All right, let me continue on here. I think the next thing to do is remove that starter. And I hate that these LED lights pulsate so much. It just ruins my video, but that's what I have. So my apologies to you guys. Anyway, that's my exhaust hanger. Yeah, you got to come up with something, right? It worked. It was on there for 3 years, no problem. All right, you can see the stainless steel bolts. That's from the bucket seats I put in here. There's the nut certs for the gear shifter right there. They're working great. I don't know if you can see the cable right above the transmission tail housing there. And the exhaust. What else can we find here? There's the original exhaust hanger right there. I should take that off too, but it's not bothering anything, so that can stay. Air shocks, they've been on there for just as long as I've had the car, and they're still good. But my God, there's oil everywhere. It's even here. See that? That's from the tail shaft. This is all oil. It's just horrible. Anyway, all right, let me continue on here. See you in a second. Okay, we are making some progress. I have some of the bolts on the transmission cross member loose. Actually, I have 2 taken out. I have the shifter disconnected, the speedo cable. I have to still remove the starter. I got 1 bolt out. It doesn't appear to want to come out of there. I believe that maybe I had the center link disconnected and the pitman arm might have been out of there, because I just don't see how that starter is going to wiggle out of there. So I'm thinking I'm just going to release it and push it forward and keep it there and just let it hang out. Battery is disconnected, so yeah, let me keep going here. It's time consuming, but it's getting there. Also, I have the Harbor Freight transmission jack that belongs to Dan. Dan is in his garage. That's his Mustang over there. And he just took his GTO out for a spin. He's doing some testing on it. Let's see, there he is. There he comes. There he comes. Hey, look at that beautiful GTO. Look at that thing. That was nice. Absolutely. Okay, let me continue on here. I'll be right back. Okay, this is where we are. I got the transmission jack on there. It's holding some of the weight right now. I got the starter loose. It's laying back there. I don't think it's gonna fall. I left it all wired up. Battery's disconnected. Can't get it out of there because I believe I got it in there without that center link in place. I think I might have put that on there afterwards, and I'm not taking all that apart, so it can just hang out for now. I still need the transmission lines over here. I started to remove this one, but it started leaking right away, so I'm gonna wait and leave that for last. Put a couple rags down, let it leak. Maybe a tray. Speedo is out. I have 1 bolt here. It doesn't have the nut on there. This one's on its way out. I'm going to remove these. I loosen this one so I can remove this cross member here. And I'm going to let it down slowly, inch by inch, because I can't get to the bolts on the other side, on the passenger side. I can't get my hand in there. valve cover's in the way. It's too close to the firewall. It's just very hard to get to. I was lucky to get the one on top, on the driver's side, and that took forever. Really difficult to get your fingers in there with a wrench. Alright, so I am going to continue here. I'm going to remove that bolt, this bolt, let it down slowly, right? This is not a hydraulic jack, so you can ratchet it right here. It's got a screw in it, lets it up and down, and I can control how much I need. Alright, so let me get to that, and then I will bring you guys back, let you know whether or not I'm going to be able to get to those two. You know, it would have been a lot easier just to pull the engine out with the transmission, but it's still a lot of work. I don't feel like doing that. Actually, I don't even feel like doing this. I should have just paid someone to do this for me, but you know, the problem with paying someone is that they're going to break things and it's not going to go back together as it should. It's always going to be a problem, and that's just from my experience. You know, I'm not saying that all mechanics are going to do that, but the majority do, you know. Extra bolts. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. So let me just get in here and keep going. I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, so I let her down as much as she will go down. I believe it's resting on the center link right there. I think that should be enough to hold it in place without falling on my face. Also, I didn't think about it, but as I let it down, I started leaking. I made a mess on the floor. There's at least a quart of transmission fluid. Got all over my moving blanket. Now I gotta change the sheets. Anyway, I still need to get to the other side. I can see a lot better. Not sure if I can still get to the other bolts on the other side. I believe there are 3 that I need to get to. And then maybe I can wiggle this thing out of here. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm just trying to remember how everything is running. You see how this is going over that right there. Everything's looking good. Maybe I should get a little more light in there for you guys. There it is. Okay, I got everything tucked away as much as I can. And then this cross member didn't come off. I forgot that that rubber mount has one little tiny bolt here, but it gets wedged in between this cross member. So, I mean, I can probably get it off. I yank on it really hard, but it's not in the way of anything. It's coming down with it. So I'll just leave this here and let it leak out. Maybe I should put like a latex glove over it. But all it's going to do is fill the glove and then burst. So we'll leave it just like that for now. Let it leak out. The jack is loose, you see, so it's resting on that center link. I know, I'm a lazy, and you see the header is also resting on here. I'm gonna go ahead and trust that that doesn't fall out of there. So, all right, let me transfer everything to the other side and see if I can get to those last 3 bolts. Okay, let's try this again. It is now 9 p.m. at night. I had to turn the heat on because it got a little cold in here. Temperature dropped. It's still early spring, so we're still experiencing some cold weather. Anyway, it's been a couple hours. I decided to go ahead and clean that mess, and I did. Cleaned it up, and I proceeded to work on this side. So the engine is down as low as it can go, and I was able to reach the one bolt that holds the dipstick in place. And wouldn't you know it, I pulled the dipstick out and fluid started pouring down again. Unbelievable. So I made another mess. I ended up grabbing this box and putting that box there to catch it. This is spill, but it's not as bad as the first time, but bad enough. Anyway, I should have taken the fluid out of here first, maybe. But oh well, it's done. We'll just have to spill some more. Just before I take the transmission out, I'll take this this blanket out of here and just let it pour. Anyway, I have 2 more bolts to go. They're so hard to get to. I'm just gonna keep at it until I get it out. I mean, it's gonna come out one way or another, so it's the only way to do it. All right, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I got the last 2 bolts out, which is the one top here on the passenger side, and one more down there. The one down there that has a little, I'm gonna call it a nipple on the block that attaches to the transmission. But on the 273 that was in here, it had a steel bracket that went to that bolt and into the block here. I guess that was for a little extra support. Now the one on this side, I couldn't put that in. I just couldn't get in there. I didn't discover those brackets until after I put this engine in place. Then I went back to look at the other engine and it had them. I think I'm going to attempt to put the one on this side, because I was able to use the one on this side here. Let me get under here. A couple years ago, when I installed the engine, I don't know if you can see it. I can't even see it. Where is it? Okay, here it is, right here. This bracket right here. It comes down off the block. It goes behind the starter there. It attaches to the block, and then it attaches to the transmission here. I wonder if everyone else uses this, or if it's needed. Anyway, I put it on there. Why not? I have it. I'm going to attempt to put it on the other side when I take this transmission out. As you can see, I tried to pull the transmission out without removing the torque converter bolts, and that didn't work. Not enough room. Almost had it. See that? Almost had it. So now I'm going to remove the 4 bolts off of the torque converter, and hopefully she'll drop down. So let me get to that, and I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, it is loose. I had to push the torque converter back in place because it started leaking. So yeah, it's gonna leak a whole lot. All right, now I gotta crank this down, and let's watch it go down. I don't think I forgot anything. Uh-oh. Come on. There we go. She's coming down. I don't see if there's anything on the other side. Looking good so far. I wonder if it's going to go down low enough to where I can just roll the whole jack out with the transmission on it. And look, I couldn't strap this. This is what they sell at Harbor Freight. It's not mine. I borrowed it from a buddy. But that's as far as I can crank it, because as you crank this, it starts to travel upward, and you can't get in here and crank. So yeah, that didn't work out, but it works. Let's see if that's as low as it's gonna go. Let's see what that looks like. No, I'm not gonna be able to slide this out. I'm gonna have to take the transmission off of the jack. There's no way I'm jacking the car up any higher. So the transmission has to slide off the jack and then drag across the garage floor. So let's grab this out of the way. Yeah, I'm gonna need both hands for this, so excuse me while I get this done. Okay, I got her down on the garage floor. There she is. Just have to drag her out of there and get the other one installed. But there's still some work that needs to be done on the new transmission. So I'm gonna end this video here, and then I'll do a video on the rest of the transmission preparations, meaning paint job, you know, clean up and paint job, and getting it ready. And then I'll do a part 2 for this for the install. So on that note, we are going to leave it right there, and I hope that you guys come back to see the install, and then we'll take it for a test drive. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.